Hello and welcome back to the channel. After our visit to Florence, we dive again into the purest Tuscany. And in the afternoon we visited the Chianti Valley, famous all over the world for its wines. Stops at our walk in Greve in Chianti and Castellina in Chianti. And if you like our video, do not forget to like it, subscribe and activate notifications so that you know when we upload a new video. After visiting the beautiful city of Florence, we take advantage of the area to visit the Valley of Chianti, one of the most beautiful areas of Tuscany. And among the multitude of sites to visit in this area, we stop first at Greve in Chianti, which is located in the northernmost area of the so-called classical Chianti and is considered the gateway to Chianti. As for parking, you will have no problem, as you have a large parking, which is also free outside the blue zones, and of which, as always, we leave you the description in Google Maps. Greve in Chianti is located about 30 kilometers south of Florence, and is located on the famous road SR222, known as the Chiantillana, which allows you to travel the entire area of the Chianti. From the parking lot, and after crossing a small bridge the Greve River, we reach the heart of the city, the Piazza Giacomo Matteotti, a large triangular square, almost entirely surrounded by poles, where we can find numerous shops, bars, wine shops and restaurants. In the square, apart from the Palazzo de Comune, we find a statue of the explorer Giovanni da Verrazzano, born in this area, and famous for having explored the coasts of North America in 1524, arriving for the first time among European explorers to the area where today New York rises. At one end, we find the Church of the Holy Cross, a church in neoclassical style built in the 11th century and in whose interior are preserved paintings of the school of Beato Angelico. We continue along the Chiantillana road, enjoying the natural beauty of these landscapes, which are the classic image of the Tuscany countryside, arriving a little time to our next place of visit, Castellina in Chianti. Located in the heart of the Chianti, in medieval times, Castellina was a strategic point as it was located just between Siena and Florence. At the parking, you have several paid parking, distributed around the historic center, although in the month of October, we were able to find parking in a street for free. The historic center of Castellina is small as Greve, but the beauty of the place and its surroundings allows us to extend the visit to enjoy the heart of Tuscany. From the parking lot, we quickly reach the Chiesa di San Salvatore, neo-Roman style, completely rebuilt after World War II, and whose interior houses the body of the martyr San Fausto, who has become the protector of Chianti, and to whom the devotees invoke their help during the drought or a season of harvest. Next to the church we find a curiosity, the Via del Vault, now full of shops and restaurants. How this underground tunnel arose was wrapped in a halo of mystery until recently, when its function was discovered. After a devastating incursion by the Visconti troops, the fortification of the village of Castellina was ordered. The inspection was entrusted to the great Filippo Brunelleschi, who did not just make a cost estimate, but designed the world's first example of an underground road able to withstand powder explosions. And although it no longer fulfills its defensive purpose, it is worth visiting this curious place. The main street of Castellina is Via Ferraccio, full of local goods shops, bars, restaurants and hotels, as well as some historic buildings. Exploring the streets from Via Ferraccio, we arrive at Piazza del Comune, where we find the most famous monument of Castellina in Chianti. It is the Rocca di Castellina, a castle that houses in its interior the Archaeological Museum of Chianti, and that is also the seat of the municipality of Castellina. Although what most attracts the attention of the rock is its imposing tower from the 14th century, from which you can enjoy a spectacular view of the city and the surrounding countryside. And to conclude our visit, we recall the legend of the black cock, a very important symbol for the producers of the classic Chianti wine, which appears on the neck on the label of the bottle and allows to distinguish that a wine has actually been produced in the territory of the Chianti, a Chianti Classic wine, of which are produced outside of this territory, in the rest of Tuscany, known as Chianti wines, without the classic nickname and without black cock. Legend has it that in the medieval period, after years of sacred war between the republics of Florence and Siena, for the control of the Chianti territory, it was decided to put an end to the war and to determine the borders of the two republics through a very singular competition. On a determined day with the first chant of the cock, a knight was to depart to the gallop of each of these cities, and the point where they were found would serve to mark the border. Sienese chose a white cock to awaken their knight, and the previous days treated him with all kinds of comforts, feeding him to their will. Florentines instead chose a black cock, and put it in a very uncomfortable cage, where they let it fast for several days. On the appointed day for the challenge, desperate by the hunger and the inconvenience of the cage, the black cock of the Florentines sang long before dawn, and the knight was able to leave with a decisive advantage over the Scenes, whose cock, well nourished and relaxed, awoke and sang long after the first lights of the dawn. It was so that the knights found a few kilometers from Siena, in the vicinity of Fonteutoli, near Castellina in Chianti, where the border between the two republics was established.